pros of buying a modern payment solution: A, you get time to market, that is given. You learn on the experience that vendor has had or that solution has had at other places. It's not just built based on your requirements, it's got the best practices which have been followed. Buying a solution today would give you guaranteed some of the compliance with the regulation, things like being ISO 20022 native, being cloud ready, supporting the new types of payments. It would have all those capabilities. So those are the key advantages of buying a payment solution. The advantages of building a solution is time to market. That's a critical advantage. You're buying into experience. Basically, when you're buying a product, that experience is through shared experience over multiple clients. You're buying a solution that ticks all the boxes around current compliance, whether it is ISO 20022, cloud native, microservices. Those are some of the things which you would expect and you would get out of the box. Plus, you would get the flexibility to adapt to your needs, and you could do that rather economically and in a rapid fashion and achieve time to market. Coming to the point, build versus buy. There are certain aspects which banks typically tend to focus on building themselves, areas where you want to differentiate yourselves and you want to create a unique experience for your clients. That's an area where banks would typically spend dollars in building the capabilities, and that helps them differentiate. For stuff that is commodity, which is readily available and doesn't create any differentiation, banks tend to gravitate towards buy approach. But these days there's a smarter approach. You're buying commodity, but you know that commodity can change also in the future. So you're buying a platform that is extensible in the future, and that's a modern trend of buying new platforms that can adapt to the future changes. Whilst doing that, if there are options to reduce dependency on the vendor, and if you could do it themselves, that's an ideal sweet spot for the banks.
We as a group, as an industry, had a mandate to deliver confirmation of payee. I remember actually being in a lot of the rooms where we were going out to partners through the normal RFI, RFP process, like, look, this is what we need to do. What can you bring? We assess whether we could actually build it ourselves. We assessed who was best in market. We assessed what they could bring. We assessed the kind of innovation on top of the mandate. So I remember a big part of our questioning to the partners, potential partners, was not just, can you deliver a mandate on day one or day zero, whatever day it is, but you have to do it. But actually, what about what comes next? Where can we build on top based on your technology to provide additional services for our customers? That decision was not a long one, but it was one where actually you properly need to consider all the angles, back to my business case point. And then do we go away and go, do you know what, we can build this ourselves? Because the build ourselves, actually, for many things, it can make more sense because you're not having the added complexity of managing a third party and managing a partner. But for confirmation of payee, for us, it made more sense, and it continues to make more sense, to go with SurePay. They're the best at it, right? Commercially, it's a very good deal for both parties. Performance and scalability and resiliency is exactly where we need it to be. And we've got a great example there of a partner that's growing across Europe, growing in the UK, growing globally. And confirmation of payee will move into verification of payee in Europe, and they'll be prime positioned to do that. So they'll do well, and we'll do well because our service is doing what it needs to do in what is a very kind of fraud-laden, fin crime-heavy environment that we work in. And so it's a perfect solution and a great example of where you can make the kind of conscious decision and get to the right outcome, but you just need to do it in a way that says you're not predetermining that outcome. You're almost saying, well, let's just assess the market and work out what's best and do the proper build it ourselves will be this to change and this to run, versus partner with X will be this to implement, because you still need to implement, but then this to run, and what are the benefits and pros and cons of each. And that's kind of bread and butter for a big bank now.